Welcome, everyone, to the dream meeting for clients. Most of us here are financial coaches, and so um, how do we get beyond the practical of and to dream a little bit? Because what I found is that it makes a huge difference in not only their long-term success, but potentially working with you longer as well. So let's get going. Hi, I'm Courtney. I've been coaching since 2020. I started my business at the onset of the pandemic, and lucky for me, everyone was just learning how to hop on Zoom. So it's been going really well, and I'm full time. I work about 25 hours a week, and I am otherwise home with my kids. They're 4 and 6. I'm a personal finance coach, and I've recently been referring myself more as a profit strategist because I'm working with so many small business owners and just helping them pay themselves more from their businesses, first of all, and be able to move forward faster with their personal goals because they're getting a plan for their business finances. I'm also a daily money manager, so with a few clients, I actually help them maintain their budgets as well. In the past, I've paid some of their bills and submitted medical reimbursements, things like that. So I do a little bit of that. Like I mentioned, I believe helping clients cast a vision beyond their budget is just super critical to their success with you.
Hey, Court, you are
Yes.
buffering on your video and it's causing your audio to buffer a little bit. You may want to turn off your video. It's less personal, but
Okay. All right. Is that okay?
yeah. Oh, that sounds way better too.
Yay. Awesome. Thanks,
Oh
Suzanne.
my gosh, so much better. Perfect.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. All right, guys, you won't be able to see my face, but as I'm a little jet lagged anyways, I'm not gonna throw a fit about that. Um, so today we are doing a dream meeting for clients. In just a couple weeks or 3 weeks about, we are going to hold a dream meeting for you coaches so we can cast a vision for your business for next year. So Coach Sarah Hurst and I are going to be leading that. That is an hour-long workshop, and it is for our Powerhouse Coach Collaborative members. So if you have not popped into our private community yet, you can actually start a free 14-day trial leading up to this workshop and come into it for free. It is also, you can purchase this workshop separately as well. I believe it's $27. But the monthly price for the community is $27. So you might as well just pop in, see what we're all about, get access to all of our deep dives, all of our tools that we've created for you guys, get to know other coaches that are in the community. It's a very tight-knit community. We all meet each other on a bi-weekly basis. We rotate, so it's pretty cool, called Matchups. All right. So on our YouTube channel, so free workshops. If you have not seen our workshops before, or you're looking to learn more as a coach and lean into professional development, please check out our YouTube channel. And there's so many goodies on there, just free workshops from the past, 2 years now, almost 2 years that we've been doing this. I already mentioned the community, and then also just hot off the press, if you missed our 2023 annual conference, these sessions are now for sale individually and per session. So if you're like, well, I think I would really only be interested in this talk, that's great. It's available separately. If you buy the bundle, you're essentially getting one full session for free. That's becomingapowerhousecoach.com/store. All right, guys, let's actually get into this dream meeting. So why do we care about helping clients dream, and what does that even mean? And if you guys have questions, please put them in the chat and Suzanne will aggregate them at the end, and I'm happy to answer your questions. So dreaming, I think most of you guys here are financial coaches. If you're not, that's okay. These are universal principles. So why do we care about helping clients dream, and what does that mean? To me, dreaming means looking up, taking a moment to pause and zoom out and think about the big picture. Most of our clients, whether they're struggling with finances or health or other things, they've got it's nose to the grindstone, like their heads down, they're working hard or trying to figure out how to work towards a solution. And they don't even think that the things that we can dream about are within their reach, right? They're thinking, okay, I'm in the paycheck to paycheck cycle. What do you mean building wealth? What is, like, that's not on my radar. And we don't always pause to think about things like that. And even if we're coaches and new in business, thinking about bigger income goals, you're like, I'm just trying to make X amount of dollars. How am I supposed to make that huge goal over there? So in terms of helping our clients dream, it's making them pause to look up and consider things that they otherwise do not put time and energy into thinking about, because either they think it's out of touch for them, or they've just never had the space and permission to dream. I love this quote. There is only one thing that makes a dream impossible to achieve: the fear of failure. So maybe another reason why they are not dreaming is because they actually just, like, what's the point? I'm never going to get there. It's self-defeating. They're afraid they're going to fail. There's that negative self-talk and money mindset aspect to this all. Do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. So I love that one, because that's oftentimes what we're helping our clients to do. We're helping them with the day-to-day, the logistics, the budgeting, the how to stop spending so much freaking money on groceries and eating out. Like, we know that we're helping them do that kind of stuff, but if I like to think of it like a carrot dangling in front of them. If we're not dangling a carrot or helping them to actually build out what they really want, why are they even doing all this work with us? Why take the time, the energy, and the money to even be here sitting with us? What's the point? So we're helping them to do what they have to do now, but also helping them to look up and see what they actually want to do. And we're with them through the nitty-gritty of it all. Okay. um, in terms of dream meetings and actually conducting them with clients, I think that there's two ways to approach this. You can do an actual dream meeting, a structured, maybe 1 or 2 hour session where it's just dedicated to dreams and vision. And yeah, you can giggle along with me here. I couldn't think of a better name. I call it dream sprinkles. Like, you can sprinkle these questions throughout every meeting. And I would even let them know that you're doing that, because I think it helps put them in a mental place to look up and to be thinking about these things before you even bring it up. Because sometimes, at least for me, when deep questions get sprung upon me, I feel a little caught off guard or maybe not ready to answer in that moment. And so it's not a bad idea to let them know, whichever approach you choose, hey, I'm going to sprinkle in some questions every session to help you to dream and build and cast your vision. So one is a dream meeting, one dream sprinkle. So call it what you want. I could not think of a better word really for it. So dream sprinkles. There you go. Okay. So how do we conduct a dream meeting? One, we will set the stage. And if you just heard me speak at the conference, I talked a lot about setting the stage properly in a consultation. So same thing with dream meeting. We want to set the stage. Hey, and you can even let them know ahead of time, like I said, hey, coming up in session 4 is going to be our dream meeting. Here's what that means. You can Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we just lost you there for a minute. I was just unmuting myself.
Okay. Sorry. I was trying to join by my phone and then someone called and then kicked me out of the meeting. So hi, I'm back. Is the audio and video okay if I do it this way?
Yeah, actually.
Perfect. Yeah. All right. Perfect. So we are setting the stage. We are letting them know what's coming. We may even have a special questionnaire to have them fill out. We may even have a special workbook that they work through before this meeting, or they can work through throughout sessions. I know a coach that has built a beautiful dream workbook, and she has them, pardon me, fill some out each session or between sessions. And so they're constantly in dream mode, even while talking about budgeting and sinking funds and debt payoff schedules. So I love that a lot. So that would be more like dream sprinkles, but set the stage however you want to. I would just be intentional about preparing them to give themselves permission to dream and start to think about what they want out of life and their financial goals. So prep work, that could be a workbook, that could be a questionnaire, that could be whatever you want it to look like. You can even, the prep work could be even asking them, hey, here's what I'm thinking we'll do for this session. What are you hoping to get out of this time of vision casting and dreaming? And ask curious questions. So we'll go over that next here. I have some examples for you guys. There are certainly more. In the next slide over, I will list out curious questions, just coaching questions that get them to think beyond their budget. So dream sprinkles approach, you can begin or end the time asking these curious questions that I'll go over. Like for example, if you're going to have a debt elimination session, you can let them know, you can start off with dream sprinkle questions, these curious questions, to really frame up like, okay, I know we're going to really get into the numbers for a sec, but let's talk about why we're even doing this. And let's just say if you could have anything in the world and money was not an issue, let's talk about that real quick. And then perhaps they would even get more excited and motivated about the next thing, which is filling out maybe a debt payoff plan or Excel sheet or thing. You can also end the time. So you could say, okay, we just did this work. What's it all for? If you were to pay this off in X amount of time and you're spending $1,200 a month on debt right now, what would you be doing with that money? What would you rather be doing? If you pay off this faster and save $10,000 in interest, what would you use that $10,000 on? Let's set aside that money anyway, and let's have $10,000 at the end. What are you going to do with that money? So that's just an example. I'm also huge on milestones. So setting milestones for motivation means they have a debt payoff plan. Let's say, for example, it could be something, another goal they're working on, but let's use debt as an example. They are setting milestones for motivation, meaning at 25% of the debt, when 25% is paid off, we are going to pause, stop our aggressive approach to paying off this debt. And we're going to go do something fun that's not part of our normal budget or what we would be doing. I have a client who they, for their 25% debt paid off, he's going to go get a tattoo. So the reason why I love this is because it gives people motivation and excitement and endurance to actually finish the race and get this debt paid off. So I'm not saying stop and go ahead and take a crazy expensive vacation and just, delay your debt payoff schedule by a year. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying taking moments throughout the debt payoff journey to stop, pause, celebrate all their hard work thus far and go do something fun. Either if they're a single person, just go do something fun, or with their family, and really looping their circle in on their plan and their milestones and what they're working on. So that's what I mean by set milestones for motivation. It could be a certain percent that they pay. It could be a dollar amount. If you have not checked out debt-free charts before, I use it all the time. It's called Debt-Free Land, and it's this cute little Candyland type debt payoff schedule or thing you can print out, put on your fridge, color, and it's free. And they color in each square, and each square represents a certain amount of dollars. So they can measure their 25, 50, 75, and 100% payoff. And I find that helps loop their family in on what they're doing, have everyone get excited and start to dream about what they want their milestones to be when they pay off this debt. So here's some examples of curious questions. And this, like I said, this could be spread out throughout your coaching time together. This could be concentrated to a dream meeting. So here's some things. What goals are on your list, but only because your mother or father or someone else wants them for you. So what are these, like, of the goals you've given me or told me that you have, are those coming from somewhere else or those from you? What does your heart long for? How do you want to be remembered? So legacy. When was the last time in your life that you felt most alive? What were you doing? And what if you could be paid to do only that? What is the problem you wake up to every morning? What would life be like if you responded differently? And then where do you hold back the most? So these are just some examples. These are, I would say, a great book for question asking in general is The Coaching Habit. That's great. I sourced some of these from Rich Litvin. He has some great questions in his emails. Okay. So, all right. So let's say you were taking the route of doing a dream meeting and spending an hour, 2 hours on this. Or you could sprinkle some of these into other sessions. So these are just some examples of things that you could do. Create a vision board or a dream board. This is, you just Google vision board and you'll see a million different ways that you can do this. There's a whole bunch of ways you can approach a vision board. But what the great thing is, you guys, is that there are digital vision boards available online now. So they can either do something in person and cut out magazine articles and do it the old school way, or they can find a free software online that will allow them to create and share a vision board with you. There's also someday versus today. So I love this one because they make a list of all the things they want to do someday, right? And then they make a list of all the things that they've done in the past, let's say 24 hours. Then you ask them, and you're not telling them what you're doing ahead of time. Then you're asking, okay, what if we swap those lists? What if you did all of those things, or like a lot of those things tomorrow, today? What would that mean for you? What would be financially required to get there? How would your life be different if you were actually doing these things? Okay, great. Let's reverse engineer that and make steps to get there. Creating SMART goals. So I like this one because sometimes individuals or couples will say, oh, I've got this goal over here, I've got that goal, but they haven't gotten specific about actually how to achieve it. So there's slightly different variations on these letters you can use, but overall it's specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and timely, time-bound. So SMART goals are a great thing. If someone is struggling and they are very vague with their goals, walk them through SMART goal exercise. Energy assessment is not this weird voodoo new age thing. It's like what drains you, what fills your cup, what gives you life and energy, and helping them identify what those things are in their life so that they can shift more, they can move towards more of those life-giving activities. And as a coach, you helping them build a plan to get from A to B. Writing their own obituary can be really profound. Again, this is along the lines of legacy, but also if you're writing your obituary, that could certainly inform how you live your life today and what choices you make every day so that you are remembered that way. And another one, identify their life verse. If they're a Christian, if they read the Bible, if they're a believer, this can be a great one for them to be able to meditate on and look at daily, and just let that be their guiding light. So here's my challenge to you. Go dream. I want you to go dream. I want you to actually do some of these things that I listed in this workshop, because why? You would be able to serve your clients deeper if you have already gone there before, right? So the workshop that we're doing in a few weeks is vision casting and goal setting, for your business. And so this is even different than that. And what I'm presenting today, I want you to go dream too. I want you to go do the work and carve out some time do these exercises so you can actually speak to their effects and how they've helped you. Okay, we are going to open up Q&A. I'd love to just hear from you guys and see what your questions are. I see some questions in the chat. I haven't looked at them, but Suzanne, if you want to just ask some questions, I am happy to answer them.
I don't have any questions in the chat yet, but I think one of the things that I pointed out there, going back to having people do the vision casting, I feel like people think of vision boards as like just a girl thing, like girls getting together, women getting together and grabbing some magazines. Who orders magazines anymore? But
Yeah.
I have had a lot of success with this with guys, especially younger males. And I think this is an untapped area specifically for that demographic. So if any of you guys work with younger males or focus on on younger males, it may take a little convincing, but I've got 2 or 3 of them that we're checking stuff off on that vision board at this point. And it doesn't necessarily have to be tied into the new year. I think people tie it into the new year themselves, right? Resolutions, blah, 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 blah. I don't necessarily think that's the best time to introduce that kind of thing. It might just be like when the spirit moves you
Yeah.
and you feel like, okay, this client is ready to start looking beyond next Friday's paycheck.
Yeah.
What's that going to look for them? So I think when we hear vision boards, we think of it as a female thing, but I really do think it's something that can be used with all of our clients, couples,
Yeah.
single males, all across the board.
I'm gonna go
No pun
back to it
intended.
actually, Suzanne, because I have some more things to share on these activities and getting a little more specific. So you're exactly right. So here's some guidance for a vision board if you've never done this yourself or you're not really sure. Okay, even if you find one, a format, how to lead them through it. So here's some questions that you could ask them. What does the best version of your life look like? And they can then, put images of things that represent what their best life looks like. Did you get the life you thought you would when you set out to get to this step? I love this one because if they're debt free or maybe they're paying off debt or they're retired, is it what you thought it would be? And if not, why? What other possibilities are available to you? So these are just some questions, some specific resources that you could give them is Pinterest, Canva, Visua app. So not visual app, but Visua app, BISUAPP. So those are some specific things you could do. Let's see, and let me give you some examples for someday versus today. So you would have them grab a pen and paper and write a handful of meaningful things they've been intending to do. So that's really the key. And this is their someday list. Okay. So here's some examples that they could say, or you might suggest, declutter your home, read a classic novel, road trip, get into shape, start a business, volunteer, fall in love, play an instrument. And so on the back of this very same list, they would write an action that has every action that has occupied their last 24 hours. And so they're doing a bit of a postmortem on how they spent their last 24 hours, and then lining it up with what they actually want to do. So this could be shopping, busy work, attending meetings, checking email, sitting in traffic, working late again, hitting snooze. So all that to say is that someday is the enemy of an intentional life. It gives us the illusion of future possibility without having to focus on that which is important today. So then you guide them through, what if you switched titles on your list and made someday happen today? Or worse, what if you wait? Today turns into tomorrow, tomorrow turns into next week turns into next month, and so on and so forth. And next year turns into regret. So years from now, you may be sitting down around pining for someday to arrive someday. Low urgency can be the enemy of progress. So
Amen.
I know I'm kind of going through these things quickly, but you'll be able to rewatch this or pause it and write these things down. on our YouTube channel. Let's see. Let me expand on the energy assessment, and please put
Or we
questions.
did have, I had one question sent to me
Perfect.
privately.
Okay.
Um, so you had mentioned earlier something about, potentially making sure it's their dreams and not somebody else's. And so the question is, how do you determine if a client is dreaming on behalf of a loved one? For example, if their mother wants them to buy a house, but they don't.
Okay, so a great question to just ask in general would be, why do you want to buy a house? You're not going to know that it's someone else's dream right away. And so digging in, like, don't, and I've been guilty of this too. Don't just assume, oh, they want to buy a house because everyone wants to buy a house. Why wouldn't you want to buy a house? Don't do that. Ask them, hey, this might sound kind of silly, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Why do you want to buy a house? And also, why now? So digging into just even those things you think are super simple, don't do that. don't just
Makes
assume.
me think of I'm sure you have toddlers running around there right now. It makes me think of like the 3 and 4-year-olds who just go, why? Hey, why? Why? Why?
Yes, don't feel
Scott
like,
knows what I'm talking about.
yeah, don't feel like you're being annoying when you do that either. You can also reframe it and say, and what else? And what else? And what else? Don't be afraid to do that.
I love it. Kathy said, would you explain the life verse?
Yeah, the life verse. So I'm just talking about a verse from the Bible. Like, so when our kids were born, we picked out a verse for them just to be reading over them, reminding them of. And it's just something that, yeah, you don't have to be given, but that you can choose for yourself. Something that you feel like aligns with God's calling on your life, or what he's calling you to that maybe you're not stepping into yet. So does that make sense? And it's a great
Yep.
idea to have them memorize the verse. That way they can be meditating on it and just really letting it sink into their soul and calling upon it, when they're in trying times. Okay. Was there another question? I saw another red.
Nope.
Okay.
She said, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I wanted to expand on this energy assessment as well. I know that might have felt a little vague. So this exercise gives a complete picture into what works and what doesn't work in your client's life. So ask them to make a list of things that drain them of energy and the ones that give them energy. So this can be people, places, activities, belongings, and everything in between. I would even say maybe boundaries too. Help them make their list as specific as possible. So don't let them off the hook if they're being vague again. For example, it's probably not their spouse that drains them, but a particular thing they do. And the meaning that your client attaches to it. So be mindful that in this list, they could be telling themselves a story that may or may not be true about something or someone, right? And we all do that. So once the list is complete, then you can help your client make decisions about what they want to eliminate or change or do more or less of moving forward. So that is the energy assessment. We could all benefit from that, right? I'm like, oh, I need to go do that. I haven't done that one.
Literally was just saying to myself, I really should do that.
Yeah. I feel like I do it sporadically, but not sitting down in an intentional way. And so again, the importance, I've done a lot of these things on here, but not every single thing. And so again, the importance of you sitting down, and we'll just wrap up in just a sec, of sitting down and doing this work yourself. And then just
I also think we tend to
go
do
ahead.
stuff like that. I think we tend to do stuff like that when it's too late.
Yeah.
And so taking time to do it before we get to a place of saying, I should really do an energy assessment. I'm feeling burnt out.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. So one more thing about the writing your own obituary, and I'll end on this. Imagine you died tomorrow. Write your own obituary, listing your accomplishments, key relationships, and people you helped. What challenges did life throw your way, and how did you respond to you live? Thank you guys for being here. This will be available. Can't make any promises for today just because I'm not in town, but we will be putting this up on YouTube. thank you again for coming. Make sure you check out the conference videos if you feel like you missed out. They are on sale all together. You'll essentially get a session free by buying the bundle or a single. And then please hop in the collaborative, come to Sarah and I's dream meeting for your business for 2024, and set aside that intentional time to walk into the new year confident. Thank you guys so much for coming.